Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Hey, this is Skippy from Mornings with Lone Star with Dick and Skippy. You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Fact is a thing. Fact is a thing that can. Doesn't necessarily have to do with fact.
Thank you so much for listening to the Cindy Cochran Show live on YouTube and Facebook and so many platforms that you just can't get away from us. But we're also on the radio, 106.1 and 104.5. And that is, if you're going to get in the car, you can stay with us. That would be great. We would appreciate it so much. Listen, this is Richard and I's, is that right, Richard and I? Richard and I's time to just converse, find out what's been going on, what happened this weekend, and things that have happened on the national stage. And I'm telling you, it is just amazing. You know, you've heard about the horrible explosion, the railroad disaster that happened in Ohio and East Palestine. Is that Ohio? Is that what? Is Ohio? I don't know. East Palestine, I know, is the place where the tragedy happened. And the mayor is mad as he can be because he found out yesterday that Biden left to go to Ukraine and was going to bring $113 billion with him to give to him. And that mayor was so mad. He said, he just doesn't care about us. He just doesn't care about us. Here we are. You know, we don't even know if we are all going to die in about 5 years. We're all going to have cancer, and we don't know all that. And so he goes off, and no one's come from the administration that they've asked for to come see what's going on and be able to send money and help them. We're right here in the United States, so it really made him mad. But this was funny. There was a senator that's from their district, and he came in. He's been visiting, so he's the only ray of hope from from D.C. that they see. But it was so interesting. What he did was he brought in other people from Washington, and they stood in this lady's kitchen. And they all had a glass of water. Now, you know, everybody's scared to death on what's going on in this water. You know, it bubbles up, it turns colors, it's all, you know, they think this is what we're going to die from, is having this bad water. And they've been trying to just drink bottled water. But they wanted to prove that the water, and the EPA that came through there and looked at it said it was, the water in about 500 houses was fine. So they felt like everything's cool. So this one lady, they come into her house, and she's standing in the kitchen, and she's turning the sink on, turning the faucet on, and filling up each one of their glasses and handing it to them. And this guy's saying, "We just want you to feel safe and feel like we've got this under control, and we're trying to help you. So let's celebrate and clink the glasses of this clean water." And so they clink the glasses. And this one guy, before he takes a sip, starts smelling. He's smelling the water, but they all drink it. So We'll check on them in about 5 years. But how scary was that they would get to do that? I'm wondering how many rehearsals they had, or what kind of checking of that water that's coming out of her tap. I wouldn't drink the water that comes out of our tap. We're on a well, and I just wouldn't drink it. We do all bottled water, and now that everybody that lives there is trying to drink just water, the most water that they can, it's very expensive. I mean, I kind of created a monster. I tried to get everybody to start. We got to drink water. We just got to drink a lot of water, and we're not going to bring sodas in here. I'm not going to bring them in. If you have to go get it, then you have to go get it yourself. But so I don't know how much I'm going to be able to afford, because I have to buy like 3 cases of those 24 cases water, and but it's so good to see everybody drinking the water, and it does make you feel better. It does. Now I'm taking that balance of nature, and does my face look flushed to you? When you say flushed, does it look red? I don't know. My cheeks red. There's no makeup, and so I just wonder if it looks like they're red, and I thought that's good.
Here, let me zoom in.
No, don't. Okay. See, don't they look red? Okay,
You're asking the wrong person.
Ain't that the truth? Because he could care less. I don't care. I don't notice stuff like that.
Like, you don't have a rash.
No.
So
no,
that's all I can tell you. Like, look like Cindy to me.
No, okay, all right, fine. But it is, that balance of nature is really good. It really does make you feel better, and I do have more energy and all that. But I just wanted to know if it was. I don't think it's taking the wrinkles away, and I don't think I'm going to be able to play the piano after. But I just think that it's really.
You're just hoping there's a thing like the movie Cocoon.
Like what?
The movie Cocoon.
Oh, the movie Cocoon.
Yeah, I think that's.
I love that movie.
You're hoping for that.
I love that movie. Yeah, that's all you need. No, I don't want to go backwards in time. I'm not one of those ones that say, man, if I just knew back, like if I could be 15 again and know what I know now, it would be amazing. I would love that. I wouldn't love that, because at 15, if I know what I know now, at 15, I would never speak to one other teenager in the world, because you know what happens, and you know how they are, and it would be horrible. And the teachers I would have a hard time with, because you wouldn't believe everything the teacher said. If you had the knowledge that you have now, you think that you'd be like rich. I think, yeah, I could make a lot of money. I could do a lot of things, but I don't know. Do you, Richard?
What?
Do you want to go back to early age?
It's funny. There's I was telling you that I'm going to start my morning show pretty soon, hopefully after the end of this month. And then
that was a shameless plug. Go ahead.
Well, no, we're having special segments on the show. It's 1 hour segments with guest hosts, and basically it's its own show encompassed on the morning show. So it piggybacks off the morning show. And we had this discussion, and there's a CEO, like a tech CEO. I'll look it up. I can show you a picture of it. Let me find it. But basically, what he's done is he's made $1 billion, whatever. I want to say he's hitting 50, like close to 50. Like, he's 40, but he's spending like $20 million a year on research and basically just any protocol where he doesn't age. He said he wanted every aspect, now literally every aspect of his body, to be as if he was 18. That includes think about every aspect of your life right now, even like using the restroom. Like, he got detailed with it. So he gets his blood drawn every day. He works out. He eats mushrooms, or, he has this like crazy regimen, and he gets his brain scanned every night. And like, he's spending so much money for research, but because I think it was LeBron James, it was reported that he spends like $1 million a year to keep his body in check while playing in the NBA. Well, this guy isn't a professional athlete. This is just some dude who's like Yeah, I just want to work out, but I also want to be like if I was 18. What do I need to do?
Oh my word!
And,
Why? Why would you want to be 18
Yeah,
again?
let's see. I'm gonna look them up real quick.
Because I understand the health part of it, but the mental part of 18 is totally. I mean, you're coming out of one horrible stage into another, and they want to be able to do everything because they want to be adults, and they're not. They're not adults
All right, I'm
yet.
gonna pull it up. I want you to look up here. I'm gonna put it
I
for the
can't
audience.
wait. Okay.
So it's $2 million. I think he spent $20 million on the tech, and then he's implementing the tech. I think that's what I was reading. So he employs 30 doctors, and the audience can see this. His name is Novak Djokovic. He's 35, and he wants to be like Tom Brady. But here's him. That's him. Let's see if there's another picture of like his whole thing. Let's see. Like that's what he eats. There's a picture of the doctor coming to his house every day. And then I think there's one more picture that looked fascinating, was this kind of stuff.
What is
I don't know.
lasers?
He gets skin therapy, laser skin therapy,
Oh,
routinely. And I want to say there's one picture.
what is that a picture of before?
So his goal, this is another guy. He's basically trying to prove that a person can reduce the medical age of every last one of their organs by 25%. So,
Reduce the age of.
because
all
so,
your organs.
well, we're not doctors here, Cindy, but the concept is your cells are dying, and that's why you can't recover. Because like the way Holly explained to me is that the older you get doesn't mean you're more prone to dying. It's the reason you're more prone to dying as you older because you can't recover. So it takes longer for your body to recover from certain ailments
Right.
and things like that. So if you could prevent losing that ability to recover, and you can recover as if you were 18, you'd stay alive longer. So maybe that's what this weird guy with the shirt off is thinking.
Well, go back to the first, who the guy is. That picture tells me a lot. I wouldn't. Okay,
You don't like that guy?
look, I'm going to be judgmental. I don't.
I like it. It doesn't.
So pale.
Well, he
Poor thing.
he gets laser therapy for his vitamin C, so he doesn't need to go outside.
I mean,
Okay, so this is what we were talking about on our show, and I want to ask you this question, Cindy.
okay.
Do you think when you reach that point in your regiment, your daily regiment, that it becomes such an issue? Because you imagine this guy has, the calendar of every minute, every day, like what he needs to be doing.
Right.
Because he's already made his money, and I imagine there's the more stuff you have to depend on, the more of a chance at falling apart really easily. So, for example, like say he has a strict diet, and he's on an airplane, and they're like, "Hey, the airplane we're gonna land in Oklahoma. We're gonna land in this little podunk town, or we're gonna go to Abilene." And he's like, "Well, I don't have my food. I don't have my workout equipment. I don't have my lasers."
That's true.
And it's like,
yeah.
all right, so what happens? Like, does this guy lose his mind?
Yeah, I bet because.
Like, what about all the seeds I'm gonna eat?
Yeah.
Because some people are like that. Like, I used to have a couple friends in school that were vegans, and which is cool. But like, I remember it really limited what we would do.
Yeah.
Because if
Where
we
you
went to
could
this
go,
restaurant and it's like, oh, well, I can get a salad. But like, that's not like you just want to eat a salad there. And it's like, oh, yeah, I'll just bring my own food. Or like when we went, on like a rafting trip or something, they bring their own food. And it's just kind of like, man, that kind of sucks.
That's like a lot of work too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of prep work to
It
live that
is.
life.
Boy, it is. So your question is,
Would you do what do you do in your regiment every day now that if someone told you, hey, if you take this shake every morning, you'll lose 10 pounds every month, would you do it?
no, because usually those are really bad shakes.
'Cause
At my age, I've gone through every diet, whatever the latest thing that came up, and would do that where it's pure protein, and you took, it was liquid protein, and things that were killing people because they did too much.
Yeah, or too little or
of it.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you saw people just change in front of you, but it didn't. I'm just inconsistent. That's probably what saved my life. And so I was.
Yeah,
it's
well, I mean, that's
okay.
what I imagine this guy, because this guy, you read about his past, like how he's made his money. I think it was called Braintree, I think. It was a payment processing that like eBay purchased, basically how to process credit cards over the internet and stuff like that. So he's one of those people, it's like you probably never heard of him, but he made $1 billion over the years of just creating tech that we use today.
Right.
But I always think I think about this guy and say he's like 60 years old and he's kept the regiment.
Yeah.
And then, he's sitting there talking at like a health talk, and he gets in a car, the driver gets in a wreck, and like, oh, you're paralyzed.
Yeah.
And he's probably like, well, why did I do all this? And I can't even walk. I can't even and I wonder if you would continue doing the regiment.
Well, Sam would run every day. He rides a bike every day. He eats really well, and he has 2 heart attacks. And all of his friends who knew,
Well, he's probably able to recover because of the shape he was in.
well, they
Like,
kept
imagine
telling,
if he was
they kept
600 pounds, he's probably, you're dead.
They kept telling him good things that would happen.
Yeah.
Because of his, he's done all this. Because he kept saying, "Why did I do all that? Why have I spent all that time there?" And here I've had 2 heart attacks. And they went, "Well, it just, you smoked for a long time. There's a lot of things that you did a long time ago that probably broke things down, but we just feel like you're doing better because you do take such good care of yourself." So I don't know. It's funny because of the age. Now, see, I'm at a perfect age to answer those questions because at any minute I could go, because
Yeah.
I'd be gone.
Well, I think what drives me nuts about this kind of guy is how much of your day is taken up with this regiment.
Right.
Because Sam would probably try to run, for 30 minutes to an hour. And most people don't do that. They
Right.
won't take an hour every day out of their days and go exercise. Like, I don't. If you count bowling as exercising, I guess.
Yeah.
But like this guy, this is the guy who probably wakes up at 4 a.m. until 10 a.m. He's doing something part of this regiment.
Because he has all this money. So it's so, and so let's say he stays like this, looks just like this 10 years from now,
Yeah.
20 years from now. And so the girlfriends he had
Stay younger.
or the wife he had are now too old for him. So he has to keep changing.
We've seen
to
Highlander. We know how it
make him
goes.
make him feel young. That's just crazy. That's so crazy.
I like it. I think the guy's insane.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because he's insane.
Yeah.
Because that's an
think
insane
about
thing to
think
do.
about everyone has to put up with this guy.
Yikes. I
With
mean,
all
he
his
could
stuff.
not hold on to a girlfriend very long.
No. Well, you have to get like one of those FTX girls.
FTX?
Yeah, that whole Bitcoin people, that commune.
Oh, right.
I bet
Yeah.
I bet there's some of those ladies are into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And how would he ever know who really likes him?
Well, because again, like you look at his eating habits, it's like, would you rather starve than eat like a French fry? Like if you had to, like, hey, we don't have any food here. All we have is canned corn, and we're stuck in this storm. I can't. I'm just gonna hold off until they come save me.
Your poor body is going, what are you doing? Well, but I mean, that's why I don't think we ever can eat the amount of fruits and vegetables that we're supposed to have. I don't think that's possible for, especially now in groceries. It's so expensive to go try and buy for being healthy.
So I don't think so at all.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, I think it's in your preparation.
Well, I mean,
Because if you only know how to make spaghetti, like that's what you're gonna make. That's the only thing you know how to make. I think if you just like, oh, I got to figure out how to make a salad. Like one of my favorite things, like my mother when I was growing up, she would buy flat iron steaks, which is not like the best cut of a steak, but she would make 2 or 3 of them, and then whatever we didn't eat, she'd chop it up, and so we knew for the next couple of days we'd had salad with chopped up steak.
yeah.
So it's kind of like it might not be the best food, but it's a lot better than eating cheeseburgers at McDonald's every day.
Right. This is such a wrong subject for me to talk about now. I am so hungry, and I'm sorry I didn't take some more of your Subway. But I think that
I love this.
I think
Holly gets mad at me every time I eat something that she doesn't know about. Because she's always about eating healthy, all that kind of stuff. So when I tell her you bring me Subway, she's like, I can't believe you're doing that. How often does she do that?
that's terrible. Well,
And I go, you don't want to know how much beer I drink on average a week.
well, she's glad. She'd be glad not to know that.
Well, because for the Holly scenario, she didn't see me eat or drink at all. Like, we eat dinner together. We have healthy dinners together. But I don't drink around her. And I'm like, the only time I ever drink is when I go bowling. And it's like, oh, it happens I bowled 5 times this week.
You are sneaking that stuff. Oh, she doesn't listen to the show either.
No.
Right? So
She might be listening right now. She's at home doing a seminar or something like that.
Oh, great. Okay, good. I just didn't want her having all of her nurse friends sitting around at their lunch table and saying, "Listen."
You know what's nuts? With the health world. So she got a job at Memorial Hermann, and I asked her about the drug because she had to do drug testing, and she said she had to do a nicotine test, and I was like, "What is that for?" And she's like, "Oh, you can get fired for having nicotine in your system at Memorial Hermann."
Wow.
And she's like, "Yeah, it's a new protocol they have for all their people." Because she was freaking out. We have a couple of friends who smoke cigarettes, but they're the same people as us. But she's like, I don't want to be around her or them, and because it might get secondhand. Because there's stories of nurses getting in trouble, and I was like, so they test you for nicotine on a regular basis? And she's like, I think so. I think they do it more than drug testing. Because the only time they do drug testing is when there's like an accident, and like, oh, we have to drug test you because we have to see if you're abusing or if you're on drugs at the time of the accident. But they don't just randomly do like, oh, we're going to randomly get Holly in to do a drug test.
Do they have a weight?
I have no idea. But
some kind of weight?
But the nicotine is real. That's a real thing. If you smoke, if they find out you smoke cigarettes or dip or anything, like, you're fired.
But if you're overweight, you have...
I have no idea. I think that's the next move. I think that's going to be the next move for them. Because she was telling me in hospitals there's different ratings, and especially like those ratings are reflected on the requirements to get a job there. So like the Memorial Hermann can tell you all of our nurses are RNs. We do not hire anything that's like 2-year nurses for certain positions. They might do it for, CNAs and things like that. But
yeah, but it's so...
Like, I know, like, when she got her job, she's working in the OR. She has to get her bachelor's degree because she didn't get her bachelor's. She got her associate's. And so they told her, it's like, you're going to have to get your master's within 2 years. So she doesn't get not her master's, her bachelor's, her 4-year degree. But she's already she's more than halfway there. So, because she's an RN, she's an associated RN. Sure. So it's really, I think she has to take a couple courses online and then she's done. But yeah, like if she doesn't get it, she's fired.
Ooh, man.
And they offer to pay for it too. So it's not like
will. Okay.
It's not like a cutthroat thing, but
that's really good that they'll pay for it. But poor thing. Well, I think that it's funny the age thing and people feeling like they can overcome aging. And that's all we need to do is be able to make life go on and on and on and not. And then our population grows and
well, Holly even asked me yesterday. It's like, if you could only blink, would you want me to pull the plug on you? That was my only ability of life was blinking.
Yeah.
And
what did you say?
And I was like, yeah, sure. She's like, oh, so you could listen to me the whole time? I'm like, I would love every second of it. It's like, but the quality of life is important, especially like as I get older. I can definitely not do things I could have done when I was 20.
Oh yeah, Sam is so. He talks about it all the time, and he said, if I'm ever on a machine, and they please unplug it, please let them unplug it. I said, well, don't tell me that. I think that's horrible to even think about. Yeah. He says, no, it's not. It's not. I'm not afraid of dying. I just want you to pull the plug.
Well, I think it depends on what the circumstance is. Like if you're have ALS or something, that's never going to get better.
Right.
It's like, yeah, pull the plug. But if like, oh, I got in a car wreck and I broke my legs, they're like, hey, it's going to take about a year to pull it. I'm not waiting a year. This is terrible.
He hates every time, every day. It's like, okay, here's what's going on today. and this is wrong and this is wrong. But with all the health stuff he does, it just
Hey, he looks good for his age, and I'm not saying that he's old. I'm just saying for like, because some people don't believe like, oh, I'm 36 years old. Like what?
yeah.
But I know one day I'm gonna be like, oh, that guy's 4 years old. It looks like he came out of a chimney. Like
He's always saying like, do I look that old? He'll point to somebody.
Yeah.
And say, do I look that old? And I go,
I mean, Biden looks that
no.
old. Donald Trump doesn't look that old.
Oh,
of
no,
his
not
age.
at all.
Biden looks that old of his age.
Yeah.
And then certain actors and actresses, like I told you, I saw Top Gun, the newest Top Gun.
Yeah.
And that's what freaked me out when I watched Tom Cruise, and I was like, isn't that dude 6 years old? And I was like, okay, but he's in a role where he's still flying airplanes. Like, isn't there an age limit to the flying the airplanes kind of stuff? So I was like, that's crazy. He's 60?
Oh, you got it. This was one of the subject matters I wanted to go. This is a great transition into it. Nikki Haley.
Who's that?
She's
a political person, I know that. But
Right.
like,
And
was she like a congresswoman, or what was she?
No, she was ambassador.
So that's it?
and
She never held a political office?
No, she had a political office, and she worked as with
I'll just look it up. You're useless.
with Trump. Anyway, and she wanted. She's
She's a
has
governor.
announced
She was
for-
former governor of South Carolina.
Yes, yeah.
There you go.
She has announced her presidency.
That's great.
Run, and here's what she said. She's talking about
So did Kanye.
what?
So did Kanye
Yeah.
West.
Well, she started a real fire in CNN because Don Lemon commented on what she said, and he got backlash for commenting on the fact that she was talking about senators who are beyond their prime that need to
Get out.
Yeah, and she said, and they need to be tested when they're 75. They need to do the cognitive
Well, that's what happened
test.
with Feinstein right now.
Yeah.
No one's heard about it. And you realize no one's talking about that.
No, of course not. She's a Democrat, so they're
No, I don't think it's a Democrat. I think it's just, it might be that bad where they don't really want to, like, oh.
we got to keep that seat.
She's been
because
there for like 70 years.
forever. But so Nikki Haley said 75 would be the time that they need to have that test done, and she said, but we're ready for new blood and all that. And so Don Lemon gets on the morning show the next day and says, that was really unfortunate that you talked about being past your prime, because Nikki Haley's past her prime. I mean, because and they all went, what? What are you talking about? What do you think prime is?
She's 51 years old.
Yeah. So they said, what do you think prime is? Well, if you Google it.
It's different for
if
women.
you Google
Did he say
it,
that?
he
Please
said,
tell me.
Google it. No, he said, Google it. And that's where he got.
So what am I Googling?
He said, women 30, it's 20, 30, 40. And that's about it. That's in their prime.
He told people to Google women past their prime. When are women past their prime?
Yeah. And so
Here
he
we
said,
go.
that's what Google said. Or the New York Times said it, but he said, Google it. Just Google it and find out for yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
that's.
good. What does it say?
They don't really give you, like, it's all judgment. Like, people are saying 30.
They're saying 30
Women over 30.
are past their prime?
Yeah.
Yikes.
But I think that's all opinion. It's not like I mean, I don't know.
It's like
I like
you're
it though.
asking, oh my word. That is so he got in a lot of trouble and got suspended
Yeah.
for some time.
I bet all those people at CNN are like waiting for the excuse to get fired. The people in charge of trying to get rid of the old.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, get the ones that cause controversy.
not even that.
And he
Like
did.
they got rid of most of their people, haven't they? Like their stars. They have like the top 10 anchors.
Yeah,
I
Cuomo
think most of them are gone.
messed up.
So
Chris Cuomo, he messed up really bad. And some of them, it's just like they get in that bubble and they can't understand that they're not relating to a majority of people that just think, what are you talking about? What are y'all doing? But so she wanted to make this test at 75. So I started thinking, okay, I've got about 6 more months where I would have to take that test if I was in the Senate or
Yeah.
the Congress or anything like that.
you think you'd fail it?
I'd fail it so bad. I'd probably fail it really, really bad. But I'd probably gotten the same score if I was 20, because
I think you'd
the
be fine.
Stuff,
I honestly
you
think you'd be fine.
You think I would?
A driving test, you might fail, but The cognitive test, you'd be fine.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it depends on the questions they ask. But I think it's funny. I mean, I love doing this show because we have different guests on with different, expertise and all that.
So you want to start
And
giving people this test when they come in?
No.
I think Kanye needs to take the test.
See, he wouldn't take it. I don't think he would
Yeah.
take it. Is he 40 or?
I have no idea. He's just crazy.
Yeah. But I love he's got some really good ideas, but
What?
he's got a lot of baggage with him.
Who,
you know.
Kanye?
Yeah, he'll say
What
something.
good ideas
that's
has
very-
he said?
Well, I mean, when he's talking about, he has much more
He's
a
not talking about
Republican
Talking
conservative.
about gold diggers?
No,
You don't like his opinion about gold diggers?
no, he has bad judgment on that. But but I think he leans like he's
Well, no,
conservative.
if I remember correctly, when he started getting more vocal, it was more about, and I guess you can't really identify as I'm not a black man. It's like that he felt like everyone judges a black man as a group, and he wanted to give his opinion. Like I'm an individual.
yeah, he
Think
did
of me.
not-
You got to think of me as something more.
right.
And
I think that's why he went over and sat in front of Trump on his desk and
yeah, probably.
talked to him how.
But I mean, he's a little loosey goosey.
But Trump, if he comes back, this is going to be so interesting, this election period.
It's gonna be boring.
Boring?
Yeah.
How can it be boring when you have Biden saying he's going to run and everybody doesn't want him to run, and then Trump is trying to
I mean,
already.
I imagine the political talk. People are just getting tired of it.
But Trump is already taking down people. He's trying to do the same thing he did whenever
Yeah,
he
but
has
there's no
17
accountability,
people.
so no one really cares. Like, really, most people want to see, and that's an unfortunate thing where, like, a January 6th thing happened where people wanted to hold them accountable, and they're understanding no one's going to do it. We got to do it. That's why you had some real crazy people there. But then you also had other people who were like, yeah, we want to protest that. But then everyone gets lumped in,
Right.
but no one's going to get in trouble.
No. Except there are people that are still in jail that were,
Well, no, I mean, those people, I'm talking about the politicians.
yeah. But some of the stuff, it's just,
So I mean, I'm not really worried about it. I think what people should be worried about is, the cost of living, and then that's what they should be like. What are we gonna
Right.
do? Because
Right.
not everyone's very positive right now
no, they're
about
not.
everything. Like when you're seeing articles about chicken eggs, I'm like, why am I reading about the cost of chicken eggs right now?
And at HEB, they're like $3. And they're not like,
Well, that's what I'm
they
saying.
used
Like
to be
I
like
don't.
$1.
I mean,
but-
the only thing I would say that's constant in people's lives is how much gas tank is,
right.
and
Sure, because that's what you're being hit in the face with it every time you have to fill
and I'm
up.
still like, I don't drive a truck. I think that's where people complain the most because they drive a truck and they can hold like 80 gallons. So of course
Right.
your gas tank's going to cost $100 or whatever. Because mine's always been. I think the most I ever paid to fill up my car was like $35.
That's the really?
most I ever.
What do you
paid.
drive?
It's a Ford Focus,
and you get
but it's not like a SUV. So the SUV people are probably paying $75 because I haven't hit that. Like I haven't. Like I don't have kids. I can't imagine having kids right now. Even
No.
though I want 20 of them, but
you want 20 of them?
yeah, I want 20 of them.
Do you really?
Someone's got to make the money in the family.
Oh, it's like the farmers think we got to have kids so they can get out there and plow the fields.
But yeah, but I feel like, especially when Donald Trump became president, I felt when people talk about their life, it was more positive.
Yes, it was.
And it might not necessarily be directly connected to President Trump. I meant more people were just talking about more positive things. But like even all the newspaper stuff you read, it's like when they start talking about chicken eggs, it's like, are we really gonna use that as a marker? Like that's crazy.
Well, I mean, when you have to go in and pay $10 for a dozen eggs, that's
Where are you paying
ridiculous.
$10 for a dozen eggs?
Up north they do. I mean, they complain about it on the shows, and they go like, you know how much,
That's
this is?"
crazy.
Of course it is. So I'm wondering what chickens do we have cheaper chickens
know.
that lay for
Probably
Texas?
because we're next to Mexico.
No,
That's my guess.
no, it's the people.
Like,
They're doing recall on.
Well, it's funny. I was listening to.
Wait, let me tell
Let me
you.
tell you this about chickens. We can
No.
move on. It's about chickens.
Okay.
Some guy made a bet in a town about if we gave everyone 3 chickens in the town, we'd feed people, and then the chickens would eat the waste. And it worked.
Really? Oh, that's gross.
So, like, instead of throwing out your disposal trash, now your plastic trash, yeah, but like your food and waste and stuff like
Right.
that, you
They'll
just put
eat-
it out, they'll eat that, and you get some eggs. That's how you curb it. But I think it was a town of like 500 people, and they made like as the city
Yeah, but-
council was like, we're gonna give everyone eggs because they didn't know how to get rid of all the trash. There was like because people
Yeah.
just didn't know. It's like, well, they understand agriculture because we're out here in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
We give everyone three chickens, at least 3 chickens, and they know to throw their trash out there for the chickens. And
But then the chickens are eating.
well, they're eating like banana peels and stuff,
Oh, okay.
like their disposal waste.
Okay.
You don't throw plastic in your disposal.
Right. Right.
So whatever you usually put in your disposal is usually good enough for a chicken to eat.
Do you separate your trash?
For like plastics and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Okay. So you
I
don't
like
burn.
burning stuff.
You burn. You
I don't burn
trash?
plastic.
No, I mean, but do you burn trash? Do you burn like
Yeah.
you do? Okay. Okay. The reason we stopped trying to drink so much soda, and it was sugar free soda, but soda, is because the boxes that after they were through, we put them in the pantry, and they just kept building up
Oh, jeez.
further and further. And Sam, so you've got to burn all these. They've got to burn, and I couldn't believe. I mean, the kids were like playing Jenga with it. You know how high they were.
And it's plastic.
No, can. You know, like
So are the cans or the cardboard?
the cardboard
Yeah, you
that the
burn the
cans
cardboard.
went in,
Yeah,
not the
burn
cans.
the cardboard. It's fun.
We don't burn the cans, but I mean the cardboard. It was ridiculous how much we drank. We go like that's 2 weeks worth, and it's like
Well, I don't think I ever see you without a soda.
yeah. See, I got 2 waters here, so
Yeah, it's
I'm trying to
probably
do
a
better.
fraction of what you've already drank today.
Fraction. No, I've got to drink 4 or 5 a day. It depends.
Cokes?
You know, no, I'm talking about water.
Okay.
How much water you got to drink? It's a percentage of your body weight, and so I hate it. I
drink
thought it'd
it
be
until, you know.
embarrassing though to have Ozarka pull the truck up because I kept thinking how much water I was going to have to drink a day, but it's I'm supposed to be like 90 ounces of water a day. I think is what it was, but I do feel better, and why I can't remember that. Why I can't remember to when I wake up to drink a bottle of water. Just drink a bottle.
Well, you know
of
they
water.
make water bottles that have that on there, right?
that have what on there?
Like measurements.
Well, no, but I mean I can't remember body weight to how many ounces you're supposed to drink of water. If you weigh,
You just put it on the water bottle. Get some Scotch tape and write it up, and then like there you go. I got to fill this up 7 times today.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah, but
But why don't you just hire 30 doctors to keep you in check?
I gave up my neurological appointment today
Can you imagine
to be here.
a one night stand with that guy, and he wakes up and you're like,
You are so obsessed with this guy.
and then you slowly wake up and you're like, I wonder where he is, and you go into like the kitchen and there's like 4 doctors in there, and he's on his back,
got
and he's
the
got
laser.
lasers, he's got the things coming out. It's like, oh, I guess I should be going now. Should I give you my number? Oh,
Oh,
hey,
isn't it
hey,
romantic?
Dr. Profaco, get that lady's number for me.
Yeah, right.
He's like sitting there drawing, like, well, it's not my job.
I can't even imagine having any kind of attraction to somebody that looks or acts like that.
It's just that's not your generation.
I know it's not my generation.
I don't think he's going after Cindy Cochran's.
No, I know that. I'm just saying I can't see pulling myself back to being in the 20s.
You never know.
Like,
You never know. You can't imagine what women have gone through these days. Like, this guy's the least sane person,
The least what?
the least insane person I've dealt with. So I'm going to stick around him because everyone else is crazy.
You like that. You got the weirdest sense of what, not humor. You don't have a dry sense of humor. It's weird. It's just off the
fine.
fringe. I don't know, but you like that. You like And you like being shocking. You like to shock with your, what you think
guess.
about things, right?
Yeah,
Right?
Sure.
You know that's true. But see, whenever you do your morning show, I know
Oh,
you.
it's gonna be mundane. It's just gonna, I mean, it's just gonna be. The weather is 62 degrees outside. Later up, Cindy Cochran's gonna come and talk about nothing. That's at 2 p.m.
have
If you want
Listen.
to, replace Cindy Cochran, please call. I'm giving you a hard
she's
time.
past her prime.
Yeah, she's past.
So she needs to be replaced because she's not with it anymore.
Well, it's going back on the Don Lemon thing. It's funny that today's news anchors have that. I mean, they have that lifestyle or that perception. Like they have their opinions, right?
Right.
So you're going forward, and it's kind of like, I guess you have to accept your job could be over tomorrow because I said women are past their prime at 50. I guess.
Right.
And
Canceled.
I like it. I think that's great.
Yeah. He should be anyway. He says so many.
Well, I think it's also the platforms you're on. I feel like if you're on CNN, it's kind of like it's an easy job because it's like you just don't say anything that is not on the teleprompter, right? Like it's
right.
like that's the easiest millions of dollars you ever make.
But they sit back and and kind of start jawing and stuff. And
Well,
tell
what was
'em.
that Como guy? Remember he faked his COVID thing? Mm-hmm. You remember that where he like came from the basement? And he's all like, "Oh, I've been in the basement for whatever," and they had footage. Like some bicycle guy took footage of him because he was arguing with like some neighbor about building
Right,
something.
right.
It's like that's not like, come on, man. Like,
And then when they used the Q-tip thing, his brother bought him a huge Q-tip, and it was like enormous, and they thought that was so funny, and they just laughed, and it would cut back to the other anchors. And, like,
that's fun.
Don't get it, but he was such an egomaniac.
Well, look, you worked in that sphere of anchors and news and things like that. What do you think about Houston and what their anchor situation is today? Where it's almost like people who are like the new generation that's becoming anchors are using it as a stepping stone to like a modeling career now. Mm-hmm. From when I was reading an article about like how many, like, it's right now between, I want to say it's between 2020 and 2030, everyone that's been part of like ABC 13, like it's going to be all new people.
Right.
Because the longtime anchors are now retiring
Right.
for the next 10 years. Like
Are being retired.
Are being retired.
Yeah.
And so, because I forgot what the article was about the generation. Because when growing up, you knew like Dominique Soska and then
Dave
Bill
Ward.
Haeza. Is that Bill something?
Bill Bias.
Is it Baeza?
Bill
then
Biasa.
Yeah, I think that's what
I
it
think-
was.
yeah.
And then I mean, it kind of. But today it's like I have no idea, and I love Facebook and people make posts. I love the little groups you can join, and people are complaining about the weather girl on Channel 11. It's like who gave this girl a job? Like she can't even read. Like I'm sitting there going, this poor woman probably gets hate all the time. And then you look at it, you see where she came from. It's like, oh, she's definitely not wanting to be here long term. She's
Right.
She's an Instagram model. Like you go to Instagram,
Yes.
it's like because all these people are public figures. So it's like, let's check out their Instagram.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so clearly you don't care anything about the weather. It's like I'm just gonna model the whole time.
Right. And when Fox started, they had these women on there, and everything that they wore was so seductive. And they found out that the guy that was ahead of that and made sure that they did look
See,
good.
I like
and they
that.
had to
See,
have
that's
them.
what I like.
they had
There
to
was a
have-
conscious decision, like Cindy,
Yeah.
you cannot wear that right now.
No.
You're a pink girl. You wear pink.
Yes.
I actually was nice enough to get this whole wardrobe for you.
Yes. But
I mean, how's that conversation
but
even
you
go?
go home and lose about 50 pounds, and then you come back, baby.
I
we'll,
mean,
we'll have.
That's like working
Oh,
at
yeah.
Hooters. I mean, you know what you're getting into, I guess, but not in that environment. It's not the same as Hooters. But
the girls always look. You can
I
tell.
always
it's
felt
all being.
on all the news stations in Houston, the women looked so respectable.
Mm,
Like it was, it's like they're running for Congress almost.
yeah,
I never felt they looked
slutty.
slutty.
No, but Fox National Fox.
Oh, you're talking about the National Fox.
Yeah.
That stuff. That's a whole other game. I'm talking about local
Right.
stuff because
Oh, local stuff, yeah. And but I never watch local news. I just can't stand.
do people
local
still?
news.
I don't know. I guess that's what I brought it up because it made me think of the local anchors, and I'm like, all right, so it's that whole play field is totally different from when you worked there,
Oh yeah.
and it's like, how many people do they really hire? Because I remember when I first started the radio station, a family member knew a guy who worked at Channel 2, and I think it was Isaiah Washington. I want to say that was his name, but I could be mistaken. He was an old meteorologist, but then he did other stuff. Well, he invited me to come check it all out, and I was amazed of how little personnel that was there. Because like you go into the big room where the cameras are, it's empty, and the camera, it's a robot.
Yes.
So it's really creepy. I was like, how do these anchors not feel creeped out by us? Because imagine being in a room with your co-anchor, and you're in this huge,
Green.
like this big room, and no one else is in it. Like
No.
there's not one person with headset going like, you're good. It's
Yeah.
like it's just robot.
Or counting them down is all like.
Like you can't see
It's-
anybody else.
No.
And there's not even a control room. It's like I go, what?
And back in the day, it was those RCA cameras were so huge, and you'd have to the way that they would guide them and the way it was amazing. And them going and putting Vaseline on the lens because had a singer in there and they had to do some
Spitting.
dissolve or something like that. But they had to make it look.
Oh yeah, they told.
sexy.
I mean, they told me they used to have a stage in there, because that's where they'd film all their shows.
Yeah.
So it's like, the Good Morning shows instead of the news, because news is usually like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but then they had like Good Morning Houston and stuff, so they filmed that with an audience.
Right.
But yeah, I was amazed how little personnel was there, and especially like if you're an anchor, like there's only certain anchor roles that's all you did. But like the anchor you see, who's not the anchor, like the person who has the microphone on the scene, they don't just do that.
stand up,
They
yeah.
do all the writing. They do the teleprompter writing.
Yeah.
They do all that stuff for the other people.
Well, yeah, in New York, it's like New York One started a deal where the reporters went out and they had to set the camera up. They had to do the
Yeah.
mic check,
One of my
do all
good
that.
friend's wives, that's what she did in Abilene. Mm-hmm. So I got to go with them occasionally because, there's nothing else to do in Abilene.
It was an amazing time in the 70s. It's 70s through 81.
Was that when you were abusing drugs?
That's when I never abused drugs. Why do you say
that,
stuff like
but
that?
people always say, "Oh, it was the '70s," so it doesn't really count as abusing drugs.
I I didn't abuse drugs.
No, I'm just kidding with you.
Oh, that's so bad.
Well, I want to ask you because
Yes.
this is the Tuesday show,
Yes.
and tomorrow you're going to have a guest tomorrow.
Guess who? Chris Wootton's going to be on tomorrow. And you've been hearing his name over and over forever with us because he's a sponsor. He's our sponsor, and we are so excited to have him come in. And we're going to talk about money. I think that's, mostly about money. But first of all, you've got to trust the person who's going to handle the money for you and make sure that you like this guy. And the Wootton Financial Group has been around for decades, and so having the guy, Chris Wootton, with us and talk about it is going to be great and answer the questions that he usually gets from people, what their fear is, and how he handles that is what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I can't wait to talk to him. And he knows that I will ask the dumbest questions probably that no one else would ask because they'd feel so dumb asking them, but I wouldn't. I will ask the questions for you that will help him tell you, here's what we can do. And you don't need to worry. We'll get it started at the right time. And a lot of people it's the timing of when they go in and the timing of when they start setting a lot of stuff up and learn the skills that you need to take care of all that. Man, I'm so glad I have Sam because Sam loves that. My sister's a CPA. She loves that. She loves numbers just excite her, and to do that. And so the taxes and all that stuff, the talk that's gone on forever and ever, I really have not gleaned as much as I should. But once I met Chris and listened to him and Sam talk about stuff, you felt like, okay, this guy, I mean, of course, you know, you feel like you know somebody. Like, I feel like I know Richard. For years, I've known Richard. But do I really know Richard? Is Richard someone else as soon as he's off the mic? I don't know. I'm the same. I do not change. But I don't know about Richard. But anyway, so tomorrow be with us, and we're going to have a good time with Chris Wootton will be my guest. And first responders, we love you, and what's better is that God loves you even more. And so have a good day. Call somebody you love. Love you.
Every week, people ask the same two questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these two questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, one-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran Show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wootton Financial Group, or any of their representatives.
Did you know that there are over 153 million orphans in the world today? The sad reality is 99% of those kids will likely never be adopted. Core Love is an organization right here in Conroe that takes care of orphan children in Haiti, Honduras, and India. We bring the love of Jesus by providing their 6 basic needs of clean water, proper food, healthcare, education, job skills, and a loving home. Visit corelove.org, that's CORELUV.org. Will you help defend the orphan?
Hey, this is Chris from the Ticket Stub. You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on IR Lone Star.